Hey Google, restart video. Hey Google, restart video. I have a little Wi-Fi connection problem there. 28 seconds behind. I don't know. Been bothered with it all day. We'll try one more time, y'all, and then we'll just do the podcast about the opening. Oh man, I ain't gonna let it. I've been 30 minutes trying to play with the internet. Hey Google, play Harold Sullivan 78 Scooby-Doo video. 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000. Supposed to be instant Wi-Fi. Alright? It's not even responding to me, y'all. So, welcome to the Sullivan Project Podcast. I'm your host, Harold Sullivan. We're going to talk some more about Superman here. Yeah, this is so weird, though. I mean, what am I paying? I'm paying Verizon for their expensive freaking internet. It's a cube, right? And look at this. It still ain't answered me yet. How many seconds or minutes has it been? The Alexa's not working right either. So, I don't know. Hey Google, can you hear me? It's supposed to be instant. You know what I'm saying? I was having problems earlier with it. Greg and I recorded a podcast. Y'all check that out. It's the previous podcast. And we talked about some movies, did a little ghost hunting stuff. Look, it's still not responding. But in case y'all haven't tuned in.
Sorry, something went wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Try again in a few seconds.
Exactly. Hey Google, stop. We'll just let you sleep. But yeah, I usually have an intro with Scott Ennis. So thank him. I mean, I had to pay him for the cameo, but that's why I want to use it. I don't want to not use it, you know what I'm saying? It's part of the show, but I got to get another audio recorder just to have one audio recorder. Just
Something went wrong.
I'm not talking
Try
to you.
again in a few seconds.
I'm not talking to you, see? Hey Google, stop. Wow. Now it's playing a podcast episode. You see how goofy this thing is? Anyway. Yeah, it got me all messed up, man. That's a shame. I've been playing with it all day. I can't get it to play my books or whatever.
There was a glitch.
Jesus.
Try again in a few seconds.
Hey Google, cancel. I'm not even talking to it. Look at this. It's playing stuff. Earlier it was doing that, playing by itself. This is crazy. But yeah, I'm paying now Verizon. Granted, I got the grant thing for low income, and so they take care
Sorry,
of it.
something went wrong. Try again in a few seconds.
Okay. I'm not even talking to this thing. It just keeps, I don't know what it's doing. I gotta get someone to unplug it later or something. Anyway, yeah, Greg and I did a podcast about hey Google, stop. Hey Google, cancel. Wow, it's just playing by itself now. Literally, y'all can hear that. Like, I don't know what the problem is. I'm not going to keep telling it to stop, that's for sure. I'm literally not talking to it, and it's playing stuff. Yeah, we were just trying to do a little paranormal.
Something went wrong.
Exactly.
Try again in a
It's
few
going to start
seconds.
playing again, now watch. Hey Google, stop. Hey Google, cancel. Hey Google, go to sleep. I don't know how to do it, it doesn't shut off. It's only supposed to play when you tell it to. So we were doing a little paranormal with the K2 just at the end of the recording of the last podcast, and maybe something got a little stirred up. So, but I'm on here to talk about.
There was a glitch.
Hey
Try
Google,
again in a few
stop.
seconds.
Hey Google, cancel. Come on, man. What are we doing here? Do I gotta like what?
Sorry, something went wrong.
Yeah.
Try again in a few seconds.
Jesus. Hey Google, stop. Wow. It's like something just don't want me to record this tonight. I'm trying to do a podcast here about Superman. So anyway, check out the Sullivan Project podcast on TikTok and YouTube, Harold Sullivan 78. Facebook, Harold Sullivan period 35. And you can call the show 724-513-1472 if you want to be on the show. If you have any comments, you want to be a guest, you just want to leave a message, or if you want to get something out, if you have a catfish or a story that's happened to you or something, anything. Everyone has a story, and you can't judge a book by its cover. That's what we're all about here. And we talk about spiritual, paranormal, metaphysical, supernatural, and then everything like movies, music, entertainment, art, animals, food, comic books, wrestling, whatever. Just pick stuff, and no judgment. I'm the messenger. I'm a messenger, or I'm not the judge, just a messenger. Wow, my Sullyisms ain't even coming out right now. Anyway, I came up with another Sullyism recently. I don't know if I said it, but we want everything, nothing we need. So check that out. We do appreciate shares, likes, subscribes, all that good jazz. Anything. I just want to help people. I was born disabled. I lost my sight a couple of years ago, and was searching for my purpose. And God, said, you can come with me. When I got depressed and I didn't want to live, or He said, we're all here to do something. He said, you got to do something. You're here. Spread the love. Only love and light, and love is a choice, and so is the hate. Remember that. So let's talk about, I think I got the Google thing to stop. I smacked the bed like that's weird. Somehow I know to do that. Remember back in the old days when they had to smack the TV and stuff or the radio to get it to work? Very weird. I don't even know what time it is. Alexa, what time is it? I'm all messed up now because of that stupid Google thing. Even the Alexa's on a delay. 4, 5.
It's 10:36 p.m.
Jesus. You see how long it took? Like 6, 7 seconds. I gotta try to get the router re-plugged in, I guess, when my sister comes home. But anyway, so we're gonna do some more Superman because it's Superman's 85th birthday, anniversary, whatever. And I did Superman the movie review a couple podcasts ago, and we actually had Dean Cain, who played Superman, on Lois and Clark, the TV show. He was a guest on the Sullivan Project podcast, so check that out on our social media. We do appreciate that. And celebrities have stories too, like I said, everyone does. So we're going to do Superman Returns 2006, I believe, and then I'm going to just throw in a bunch of everything Superman here. Oh, also, there's a TV show, House of Villains. So if you're into a reality show, and it's pretty good, I checked out the first episode, I listened to it. It has people from The Challenge, Johnny Bananas, and Johnny Fair Play, something, from Survivor, New York, from I Love New York, and then it has Omarosa. It has all the villains. It's pretty funny, and it's intriguing a little bit to have them all together in the house. So yeah, Superman Returns 2006. It's supposed to be a sequel to to Superman 2, or kind of a sequel to Superman 1. But it's more of a sequel to Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. How I explained before how Superman 1 and 2 were shot together, but they weren't finished. And they fired Richard Donner, the original director, hired Richard Lester. He finished Superman 2, and they changed Superman 1 and gave it the ending to Superman 2, and then they finished Superman 2. But if you go get the Richard Donner cut, which they made like 30 years later, they brought out, a director went and found Richard Donner, and they found old footage, and they tried to put what they could together to make the original Superman 2, which was never released. So it's called the producer's cut, if you can find that. And more about Superman. Now, Richard Donner fought to get the rights to the family because when Superman was created by Schuster and Siegel, they sold the rights right away for like a ridiculous amount of money, only a couple grand, to the comic book company. And so they never got royalties and up until 78. So it was like 40, 50 years later, when he made the movie in 1978, Superman, the movie, he fought and got their names put on the credit and got their family money. And so now, and then from then on, their family gets royalties, and uh, Schuster and Siegel get credits on Superman. Anytime they do a movie or whatever, they always put created by, and they have a name. And they didn't do that before that. So that's pretty neat there. So Superman 2. Now, I'm only going to give it a 2.5 to 3, but I'm going to. It sounds like I like it more. I'm going to, I didn't really like it, but there's some good stuff about it. And then I'm going to talk about other TV shows about Superman, and then Batman versus Superman, which is another one. I didn't really like Justice League so much, and that was a disappointment. I mean, if you're a superhero fan, you wait all those years for them. It was like Freddy versus Jason, the ultimate showdown. And I thought the Avengers was way better, you know what I mean? But so Superman Returns is supposed to be like 5 years after Superman, and Superman scientists, they say, discovered a piece of Krypton. The Krypton's still there. It didn't explode fully. So Superman leaves Earth. He just goes to find the planet to see what's up. Completely leaves Lois and everything behind. Yeah, I didn't find that realistic. And it takes him 5 years to go there and come back. And then, of course, there was nothing there. And the world has changed. She wrote an article. She wrote an article, and she actually got her Pulitzer, Lois, for why the world doesn't need Superman or doesn't need a Superman. That's a shame. That's messed up. But so the first thing is, now in the comic adaptation, the movie adaptation of the movie Superman Returns, there's a whole part in the beginning where you find out Lex set this scheme up from in jail. Just that scientists found Krypton and all that to get Superman to leave on purpose. So that makes more sense than it. I don't know why it's not in the movie.
Ambient screen.
And there's other things that aren't in the movie too. And also another good book on Superman, or audiobook, you can get that version, is the unauthorized biography of Superman. It came out like 10 years ago. So check that out. I think it's called Up and Away or something like that. So, but yeah, Superman returns. So anyway, he comes back and Lois is mad. And Lex, where is Lex? He gets paroled. How's he gonna get out of jail? He gets paroled or something. I can't remember. Oh yeah, he gets let out of jail because Superman doesn't show up at the parole meeting because he's not there. He's or probation, whatever. He flew away. So if you go from the story when he takes him to jail to end of Superman 2 or Superman 1, I think it was Superman 2. He takes him back to jail. That's right. Because he escapes and he takes him back. And the Richard Donner cut, it's different. There's more Fortress of Solitude scene. There's more of the villain scene. There's more scenes where Lois finds out how Clark is Superman, way different. They actually put Marlon Brando in there because he was cut out. They cut him out of the original. Well, he was in the original. They cut him out in the Richard Lester's version. But the producers cut, they put Marlon Brando back. They didn't want to pay him, so they cut him out. That's a shame. They cut him out and the director of part 2. So that didn't make sense. But he's in the Richard Donner version of Superman 2. But anyway, I liked. Okay, so yeah, so he comes back. Anyway, Lex has this whole idea now of using the meteor to make an island or planet. So, and then of course that makes Superman weak when he lands on it. And then Lex stabs him to death pretty much and leaves him in the water. Lois has to go back and save him. The weird thing is now Lois has a kid who's 5 years old, and she says it's not Superman's. Of course, there's an incident in the movie where he shows super strength, and then you're like, okay, now that really is Clark's kid, But the kryptonite doesn't affect him. So, again, you go back and forth. I like the dude Brandon Routh that played Superman. I thought he was okay. I didn't really like Lois Kate Bosworth. I liked Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. Kyle Penn was supposed to be the Otis, but of course he wasn't around. I can't remember the guy who played the original one, but of course he wasn't around all those years later to do the sequel. Now, again, the movie didn't make sense as far as the way it looked because they had flat screens and technology that they didn't have in the 80s in the movie, and it was supposed to be 5 years later, so that kind of didn't make a lot of sense to me. And, it just, But I like the dialogue, and I like Marlon Brando, and I actually went to the movies to see that, and it was a decent, But as far as and it's fit right in there. So you have like Superman 1, 2, then Superman Returns, and I guess Superman 3 and 4 after that. And we're going to talk some about them now after this. So I give it between a 2 and a 3, or 2.5 and 3. Superman Returns. Make sure I didn't miss anything important about Superman Returns. Of course, the music was good, and they used unused footage from Superman, and a couple of the other Superman movies. Now, Superman 3 has Richard Pryor. A lot of people don't know that, and Lois really isn't in it too much. Clark goes back to Smallville, and his mom and dad are both passed on, and he's decided what to do with the house, and he runs into Lana Lang, who actually, the lady who played her ended up playing Clark's mom on Smallville years later. That's another TV show which was good. It lasted for 10 years, and it was about a young Clark Kent, and they changed it a little bit. Tom Welling played Clark, but they kept most of the Superman mythology intact. But Lex and Clark were friends when they were young in Smallville. So you have that show. Then you have Superboy, which was on late 80s for like 2 seasons, and had 2 different actors playing Superman in it. And then you had the Lois and Clark show. And then recently you've had like a Krypton, and there's a new Clark and Lois or something like that. I don't know. And I didn't really get into either one of them. Tried a couple episodes. But Superman 3, Richard Pryor is like a genius, and he creates this kryptonite for this evil guy who's almost like a Lex guy. And Lois is only in there for a second, but Margot Kidder's in all 4 of the originals. Not Superman Returns, though. So Margot Kidder, yeah. So anyway, it makes Superman split into 2. He goes bad, and he's fighting his good self. Clark fighting his Superman, and he's in the bar drinking, and he has to fight himself, and it's kind of odd, but it's funny because Richard Pryor steals the show, and he's flying around with Superman and stuff. He's like, oh, that's my buddy, but it's not really his buddy, but he gets saved by Superman, and at the end, of course, Superman. And then Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, he's going around collecting all the nuclear weapons and shooting them into space, right? And so Lex gets broke out of jail again by his nephew this time. And Lex has a new girlfriend in Superman Returns. She actually ends up helping them out. See, that always happens. I forget what her name is. But she ends up helping Superman, just like in Superman the movie, he got helped by the girl. Because they all fall in love with his charm, But Lex puts Superman, as he goes in the museum and steals a piece of Superman's DNA, his hair that's lifting a weight that weighs like thousands of pounds or whatever. And he cuts it with something. I don't know how he cuts the scissors. How he cuts it with scissors. He actually takes a strand of the hair, which doesn't make sense because you can't cut Superman's hair. And
Waterfalls is available with Amazon Music Unlimited,
Alexa,
which
stop.
lets you play over 100 million
Alexa,
songs.
stop.
It's free for 30 days.
Alexa,
and
stop.
$10.99.
Oh, maybe okay. I said the other word, and I thought I said that. Jesus. But yeah, he puts the Superman's DNA on a missile, sends it to space, and it makes a bad guy called Nuclear Man or something. I don't know. And he almost kills Superman. Superman gets sick, but then at the end he beats the bad guy. He figures to trap him in an elevator and put him on the moon on the dark side, so he loses his power. Spoilers. And then you have Man of Steel years later, which I thought was pretty good. I didn't really like Superman Henry Cavill, but I like the reboot. Russell Crowe was decent as the father, and you need somebody semi-iconic after Marlon Brando, of course. And then Man of Steel, and then you have Batman versus Superman. Now Jesse Eisenberg, as soon as he said that he was casted, I knew. I was like, okay, I know what they're going for. And a lot of people were against it, but I knew it was going to be decent. And he's pretty good, especially when he's bald at the very end. He don't shave his head. I don't even think he shaved it then. I think it was a bald cap. But so he basically gets Superman and Batman, puts them together against each other, and it's neat because Batman is just like in the comics. Batman thinks ahead of time, and Superman, could destroy everybody. So he has a weakness. Let me get kryptonite. So he actually tries to kill Superman. Almost gets him. Then they have to work together, of course, because Lex Luthor breaks into the ship that they have, Superman's crashed ship, and the chamber that's in there, and it's supposed to be like the chamber, I guess, with Fortress of Solitude that can rejuvenate Superman. He ends up making Doomsday, the monster, and so Superman has to fight the monster, and Batman helps him, and then spoiler, Superman is killed, just like in the comics where Superman is killed, but then he comes back later, split up in four or five different Supermans. But I liked Batman versus Superman. I liked Ben Affleck. I didn't mind him. Of course, Ben Affleck played Daredevil, and then he also played Superman. He played Superman in one or two scenes in the movie Hollywoodland, where he played George Reeves, the actor from the old TV show Superman, which was another TV show, The Adventures of Superman. And then the original on camera was Kirk Allen's Superman back in like the 20s or 30s. Black and white serials they did, and when he would when he would jump, it would turn into an animated version, and he would fly. So that's how they did the CGI back then. It was like a cartoon, so he could actually have powers and stuff. So we have Kirk Allen, then you have George Reeves, you have Christopher Reeve, and then you have a couple of other, and we're up to the new one, and then so we have Batman versus Superman. I'd probably do that closer to a 4 rating. As far as in the Superman universe, like I said, I didn't really like Justice League too much. Nicolas Cage is actually in The Flash. Spoilers. He was set to play Superman years ago. Tim Burton was going to do a Superman. Superman Lives, The Death of Superman. There's a documentary called Superman Lives, The Death of Superman. Check that out. They actually have footage and storyboards and all that. Sandra Bullock at the time was in talks to be Lois Lane, and Chris Rock to be Jimmy Olsen back in the 90s before Superman Returns. And they were in pre-production. Kevin Smith wrote it, and I think it would have been decent because Tim Burton did Batman, the first two Batman, 89 and 90 or 91, 92, something like that. And I think it would have been good, but the movie got canceled. So he actually got to play Superman now in The Flash for like an alternate universe scene, and then he actually did a voice in an animated Superman recently. And he was another superhero. What was his name? Big Daddy and the Flash and
Ambient screen.
Kick-Ass. I think it was Big Daddy. So that's that. And there was another superhero movie, Justice League, years ago that got canceled. Corbin, I think, was a director. Roger Corbin, or 80s director for Corbin. And that was supposed to have an all-star cast. That was in the early 90s. And Brody, Adrian, or Adam Brody, one of them two was going to be the Flash. And then it was going to have DJ Cotrona, who was in from Dust Till Dawn show. And I think he might have been in one of the G.I. Joe movies, was going to play Superman. Armie Hammer was going to be Batman. And it was going to be an all-star cast. And they got pre-production, and that movie never got made too. So we could have had more Superman movies. Who knows what Tim Burton would have did? And right now, I don't know what they're doing. I think Henry Cavill's done, and they're going to be doing some restarting. Maybe they'll go back to the Richard Donner style, which is what I liked. Part 1 and 2, the story with love, the love story with Lois Lane and Clark Kent. That's what Richard Donner, wanted it to be about. So, but love is a choice, and so is the hate. Speaking of that, it's a Sullyism. And hey, when you can't make it that next second, just hold on one more second. That's all I can say. God will get you through it. I've been disabled. I haven't walked since I was like 8, 9 years old. I've had so many surgeries, neck surgery, my head almost fell off. I was in a body cast. Those were different surgeries. I've had 30 people die that were close to me. I've been close to death 30 times. And I'm here for a reason, just like you are. And you're perfect the way you are, and you wouldn't be here. If you didn't have a purpose, you wouldn't be here, and you wouldn't be different. You have a reason to be different. Everything is always for something. Just find out what those things are that makes you different and use them for good. And don't look at them as a bad or negative thing. Flip them and use them to help people. And you'll get it all back because you do get what you put out. Alexa, what time is it? We'll see if it reacts, but we're going to go because I think I'm getting down to time there. Just don't ain't it. Hey, Alexa, what time is it?
It's 10:54 p.m.
All right, yeah, we'll be back. We're getting close to a half hour, I believe. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. I love y'all. Like I said, how about we leave y'all with some Sullivan? I don't want the camera to, because I don't know how much is charged on there. Greg and I did a podcast about movies, like I said, ghost hunting. So we did a little bit. I couldn't get much, but I didn't get much before whenever we did it. My other apartment, the ghost hunting, and Greg was around. It's all about energy, certain energies. You have to be real serious, and I seem to get stuff alone more when I'm alone. So we'll do that here soon, and I'm going to be playing some music. I'm writing the songs, and maybe I'll get on and show y'all how I write, like if I get stuff to come to me, because usually it'll just come to me, bam, 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 when I'm writing. So I don't know if I can just turn on the camera and do it. So I appreciate y'all sticking with me with the pages, and when my equipment don't work, whatever. If sometimes you can't hear me good, I've been getting new cameras and audio and just everything. Because I want to do the best I can. We're over 100 episodes, and like I said, if I help one person with something you hear, you know what I mean? So I've been through so many things, and I've lived through so much, and my parents are gone, and most of my family, and I'm not even 45 yet, but I'm going to keep going here, and I love y'all. We'll be back soon.